Hey, John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. Today I'm going to do a video that is going to serve two purposes. So I got this email from Pluralsight. I have 55 courses with Pluralsight. It's an online training company that I have done videos for, and they were asking for some responses from authors for some kind of marketing initiative that they're doing, and so they wanted to put together some stories and quotes from some authors. So I thought, hey, I'm recording videos, I might as well do it in a video format. So here it is, because I thought this would be interesting to everyone in general. So the first thing that they ask is, tell us about your first coding memory. So I'm doing this all off the cuff, by the way, so I have to think about this. What is my first coding memory? So the first one that I can really think of that comes back to me is going back to, I think, going to school and seeing an Apple IIe computer and basically going through and typing in lines in BASIC, doing 10 print line hello, and then making a loop. I think this is what, like, most programmers, their first memory is right? You go to the computer and you discover that you can make a loop, and then line 10 you say hello, and then line 20 you say go to line 10. So I made an infinite loop that just said hello, 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 hello. So that was my first programming memory. And I remember thinking at that time at how much possibility there was. I kept thinking that I wanted to just, like, I wanted to have my own disk and have my own programs on it and start writing these programs because there was so much power. I remember that at that same time too, being introduced to like a conditional statement and thinking, wow, I could make the program do different things based on what a user inputted, and that's amazing. That's such a cool concept. Okay, so the second one is, tell us about the first time you built something and had a sense of gratification. This one's kind of a hard one. I'm trying to think what it was. I mean, I could go back to my school days with the Apple IIe computer and my first program that I wrote, but that wasn't really, I wouldn't really call that building something. I guess I would say a little bit later on, at this point I determined that I wanted to become a programmer. I started playing MUDs, right? And so I wanted to build a MUD or build my own version of a MUD. So I downloaded some of the source code. It was all in C. I knew nothing about C, right? And I sort of learned it as I went, looking at the code and making changes here and there. And I basically ended up creating my own MUD from that source code by modifying someone else's source code and creating my own system. And that was pretty cool. When I got that online and people were logging into my MUD and I had created that MUD, essentially, that was a really cool feeling. And that was kind of the thing that probably really helped me to, when I went to college and things got a little bit hard and programming didn't feel so much fun, I remembered back that experience of creating that MUD and putting it online and how it felt to have done that. And that pushed me forward to go forward in my career and to really have a love for programming. Okay, so the third one here is, what is your advice for those looking to learn how to program? So the biggest piece of advice that I would say for someone looking to learn how to program is that, do it. Right, and I know that's the generic answer, but what I mean by do it is, don't pick up a book and read through the book. Do it. Do actual programming. That's how you're going to learn. This is the best way. Like, get involved at every step as you can. When big mistakes I made early on in my career was picking up big 700-page programming books and reading through them as if I'm going to learn something from doing that. I mean, sure, I retained a little bit of information, but I would have been much more successful if I would have just started coding. Don't worry if you don't know what you're doing. Just start doing something and figure it out as you go. You can go back and read a book later, but start by doing. So many people make the mistake of not doing that, or they try to have some kind of really sophisticated education instead of just jumping in. Jump in later on when you know the places that you're missing. When you have questions in your mind, go back and fill in those questions, answer those questions by going back and reading books, but start by doing. Okay, so the last one here is if you could teach someone something about what you do in an hour, what would it be? Okay, this one is an easy one to answer. So if I have an hour and I'm going to teach you something about what I do, it's not going to be marketing, it's not going to be programming, it's going to be learning. Because I spend more time and more focus, and the most valuable thing that I do is to learn and to learn things quickly. So I would show you in an hour how that I can learn pretty much anything that I want to within a very quick period of time by using a technique that I've developed where I basically go through and take an overview of a subject and then break it down into modules and then go and experiment with it, ask questions and find answers to those questions. But I would show you exactly how I go through and go about learning about a subject, because that's really the most important thing. If you can learn to learn, if you can teach yourself to learn, that's the most valuable thing that you could give yourself. The most valuable skill that you could give yourself is the ability to teach yourself, not to rely on someone else, but to teach yourself to learn. So that's what I would teach you. All right, well, that's it. Hopefully this video will serve both purposes. And if you find this interesting, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you get all the videos I produce every week. Take care, and I will talk to you next time.